In this video you will learn how to use the Graphical User Interface in Trading Conceiver in order to design your own trading system. Here only the Graphical User Interface is described. For explanations about the various features, see the relevant sections in the manual. In the main window of Trading Conceiver, select the tab Composer. The list of implemented algorithms is presented in a tree-like structure. To expand or collapse a branch, either double-click on it or click on its handle. The tree has the following main branches: technical indicators based, algorithms based on technical indicators. You can find the corresponding indicators in the Indicators tab. Patterns, algorithms based on pattern recognition. Candlesticks, algorithms based on candlestick pattern recognition. Stop loss, algorithms to be used as stop loss. Take profit, algorithms to be used as take profit. For the definition of base indicator and derived indicator, please see the Indicators section of the user manual. The technical indicators-based branch is further divided into branches. Each branch corresponds to a base indicator. In each of these sub-branches there is the list of elementary trading algorithms dependent on such base indicator and its derived indicators. To render the elementary trading algorithms more standardized, for those indicators consisting of more than one significant curve, the algorithms are further divided into sub-branches, one sub-branch for each curve. A typical example are channels and bands indicator, like the Bollinger Bands, the Kellner channels, and so on. They have a branch for the lower line and another branch for the upper line. Another example is the ADX in its plus-minus DI forms. Algorithms operating not only at close but also intradaily appear in blue, to make them readily recognizable. By expanding the branches, at the end the leaves are found where the actual algorithms lie. To select an algorithm, click on it. Some leaves are left empty for readability purposes. Other leaves contain titles or dividers, again for improved readability. After a while, you could find to have expanded a lot of branches and want to collapse the whole tree. In order to do that, click on the tree icon in the main toolbar. You can resize the tree pane vertically or horizontally by dragging the dividers on its sides. You can even collapse the whole pane containing the tree vertically or horizontally by clicking on the small arrows of the dividers. To expand it, click on the arrows again. When you select an algorithm, a brief description of it appears in the description pane at the bottom. A brief introduction or definition comes first. In the interpretation paragraph, you can find how to interpret the algorithm. The interpretation can stem from the indicator per se or from the trading algorithm. If it depends on the algorithm, you will find similar interpretation for the same algorithm, independently from the indicator. On the other hand, if it depends on the indicator, it is based on literature. In this case, we stress that these are just notes about what you can find in the literature. Do not stick to it. The real interpretation is up to you. In the Literature Signals paragraph, you can find what literature usually says about the phase of a market implied by the indicator, like uptrend, downtrend, or congestion. Do not rely on the signals listed here. Decisions are up to you. These are only notes, reminders of what you can find in bibliography. Any decision is legitimate, even the exact opposite of what is reported by reputable authors. Moreover, a single indicator seldom can give reliable signals. These must always be confirmed by other indicators. In the Hint Note paragraph, some notes might be reported. All algorithms depend on indicators. Those indicators are pointed out in the Use Indicators paragraph in form of links. Click the link to go to the description of the relevant indicator in the Indicators tab. Most algorithms require input parameters from the user. If the meaning or range of such parameters is not readily clear from the description or from the formulae, some elucidation could be reported in the parameters paragraph. Usually it is not reported for the loopback period because it is trivial. The Boolean logic states the conditions under which an algorithm is true. There are 6 steps. Long, here you specify when to go long. Short, here you specify when to go short. Liquidate long, here you specify when to liquidate the long position. Liquidate short, here you specify when to liquidate the short position. Stop loss, here you specify the stop loss. Take profit, here you specify the take profit. The tabs for long, short and liquidate are all equal, while the ones for stop loss and take profit differ slightly. For the long, short and liquidate, each tab consists of the following slots. 4 slots, similar to those of the indicators. Here you put the elementary trading algorithms you want to consider. Logical operators. Here you select how to combine the elementary trading algorithms by selecting the logical operator between them. The logical operators are AND, all conditions must be met, or it is enough that just one condition is met, at least 2. At least 2 conditions must be met. At least 3 conditions must be met. Parentheses. Through the use of parentheses, you assert the precedence order in which the logical operators are calculated. If the parentheses are unmatched, a warning is issued. Global step. By selecting this checkbox, you consider the whole tab Boolean logic to be true only when it switches from false to true. The stop loss and take profit tabs are very similar to the one described. However, they are divided into 2 sections. For instance, in the stop loss tab, the top section is dedicated to the stop loss algorithms. You can put in here only the algorithms in the stop loss branch of the tree. These are the real stop loss algorithms. The bottom section is dedicated to the standard elementary trading algorithms, the ones found in the following branches of the tree: technical indicators based, patterns, candlesticks. This has been designed so that stop loss algorithms can be affected by some other conditions. The section is further divided into 2 sub-tabs: long, short. The stop loss algorithms are combined with the long tab when the long position is underway, and with the short tab when the short position is opened. If you don't want to distinguish between long and short trades, deselect the checkbox Distinguish long-short. In this case, only one tab is enabled, both for long and short position. The same holds true for the Take Profit tab, where in the top section you can put only the algorithms in the Take Profit branch of the tree. Each slot consists of the following. When you press the selection button, the corresponding slot is filled in with the algorithm selected in the tree. This way the algorithm is effectively selected. These buttons are enabled only when the right branch or sub-branch or leaf in the composer tree is selected. For instance, if a stop loss is selected in the tree, only the top 2 buttons in the stop loss tab are enabled. So first select the algorithm of your choice in the tree, then press one of the selection buttons to put it in the corresponding slot. The algorithm name is shown in the text field on top of the slot. If you hover the mouse over it, the description of the algorithm is shown as a tooltip. Input parameters are given default values just for convenience. Do not rely on those, choose your own. To choose the value for an input parameter, first select it through the combo box. After selecting the input parameter in the combo box, you can choose its value through the spinner. You can input the new value manually and then pressing the Enter key. Or you can increment-decrement the value by pressing the up-down arrows, respectively. If the number is an integer, the increment is by 1. If the number is a floating point number, the increment is by 0.1. The spinner makes sure some constraints are satisfied, like the lower and upper bounds for each parameter. Usually you can find such bounds in the parameter section of the description. You cannot input values colliding with the constraints. In the Input Parameters Values text field, you can see all the input parameters. If you hover the mouse over this field, a tooltip with the names of the input parameters appears. The order is the same as in the combo box. Press the Reset button to clear the slot. Checkboxes associated to each slot change the behavior of the algorithm. Trading algorithms have the following checkboxes. Not. This inverts the Boolean logic, transforming true in false and vice versa. Step. This changes the Boolean logic to be true only when it switches from false to true. Extend. This extends the close value, making it valid even for the next open and intraday. Stop losses have the following checkbox. Trailing. If checked, the stop loss is trailing, that is, follows the price. The take-profit algorithms don't have checkboxes. For algorithms operating not only at close but also intradaily, an eye appears signaling that. Through the radio buttons in the When to Trade pane, you can decide when to trade. At open, threshold and close. Trading signals are given at open, intradaily and at close. This is the most powerful but also the most complicated. Only at close, consider only close. Calculations are made only at close. Only at close, shift to close. Calculations are made intradaily, but trading signals are given only at close. Only at next open. Calculations are made intradaily, but trading signals are given only at open. When the checkbox Distinguish Long-Short is checked, you can use different algorithms for liquidating a long or a short position. Both the Liquidate Long and Liquidate Short tabs are enabled. If unchecked, only one Liquidate tab is enabled, and it controls the liquidate behavior both for long and for short positions. If you want to specify only when to go long and short, implying that when neither the tab long nor the tab short are true, it means to liquidate the position, you can select the checkbox Liquidate if not long nor short. This will create internally a liquidate condition, which is true whenever the tabs long and short are both false. In this case, both the liquidate tabs are disabled. If a trading algorithm operates only at close, it means that at open and at threshold it is undefined. When combining it within the same tab with an algorithm that is defined even at open and threshold, the checkbox Make Congruent in tab Considering Only Close selects how to make them congruent. Checked. Only close is considered. Unchecked. The algorithm operating even at open and threshold is modified so that all signals are shifted from open and threshold to close. Trailing stop-loss algorithms follow the price. In the Trailing stop-loss follows pane, you can select exactly what price. Close, this is the standard in literature. HL average, the average between high and low. Typical price, the average between high, low and close. OHLC average, the average between open, high, low and close. High for long, low for short. That is high price for long positions and low price for short positions. Low for long, high for short. That is low price for long positions and high price for short positions. It can happen that boundary conditions to be different on the very first trade, resulting in unexpected behavior for the very first trade. If you identify such an eventuality by selecting the checkbox Strip First Trade, the first trade is deleted. In the Colors pane, you can customize colors used in the Composer user interface, the ones used for logical operators and, or, at least 2, at least 3, and for the parentheses, inner parentheses, outer parentheses. The button Reset to Default resets the colors to their default value. By pressing the button Disambiguate, a new window opens. Here you can decide what to do in ambiguous cases. Ambiguous cases arise because the logic in the various Composer tabs, long, short, liquidate and so on, is not mutually exclusive, meaning that two or more tabs can be true simultaneously. As an example, you might be holding a long position and have long tab true, stop loss tab true. There are two contradictory signals. The stop loss is telling you to liquidate the long position, but the long signal is telling you to go long. So you could either liquidate or hold the long position. Both alternatives are legitimate. In the ambiguous window, you can select the action to take in such cases. Press the radio button corresponding to your choice. An X in the table means don't care. This example corresponds to this line, where the current trade is long and both the long and stop loss tabs are true, with all other tabs being false or don't care. You can choose to liquidate or hold the position. Dual cases are those that can be inferred. For instance, in the example above, the dual case would be current position short, short tab true, stop loss tab true. They are symmetrical cases and the ambiguity in both cases is the same. Either you liquidate or hold a position. Once you make a decision on what to do, that decision is the same for both events. For this reason, the window contemplates only the strictest number of cases. If you want to see their dual, press the button Dual. Again, this example corresponds to the same line in the disambiguate window. You can save the configuration of the whole Composer panel by pressing the Save button. In the pop-up window, choose an appropriate directory and file name. The file extension is the part of the name of the file coming after the last dot. When saving the file, an extension to the file is added automatically. By default, the file extension is .composer, but you can customize it in Tools, Options, Extensions. Only files with such an extension are shown. To see all the files, regardless of the extension, in the pop-up window, select Files of type All Files. To confirm saving, press the Save button in the pop-up window. You can save the configuration both for the Composer and the Indicators panels simultaneously. Either select the menu File, Save Configuration, or click the homonymous icon in the main toolbar. The file chooser will let you select the configuration file for the Composer. The corresponding configuration file for the Indicators will be saved in the same directory, with the same name and the appropriate extension. This way you can load the file separately. This is an example of directory structure. For the sake of simplicity, either none or both files will be written, but only the selected Composer configuration file is checked to see if already existent, to avoid accidental overriding. In any case, if you proceed to save the file, no checks are performed on the correspondent Indicators configuration file, and if already existent, will be overwritten. To load a saved configuration, press the Load button. Again, in the pop-up window, only files with the appropriate extension are shown. Select one of the files you saved before and confirm loading by pressing the Open button. You can load the configuration both for the Composer and the Indicators panels simultaneously. Either select the menu File Load Configuration or click the homonymous icon in the main toolbar. The file chooser will let you select the configuration file for the Composer. The corresponding configuration file for the Indicators must reside in the same directory, have the same name and appropriate extension, and will be automatically loaded. This is an example of directory structure. To reset the current tab, press the Reset this tab button. To reset all the tabs, press the Reset all tabs button. To reset all selection panes of both the Indicators and the Composer tabs, press the correspondent icon in the toolbar.